'Tis the season to delete and block. It's the season to delete and block, and I am going to explain specifically why. My name is Flora. I'm a dating and relationship coach and the founder of Redo Love, and I help you release your blocks from love so that you can find the love that you know that you deserve. I speak to this only because I speak to everything, because I have to deal with it myself and I have to go through it myself, and I know how hard it is, and I know how much better of a place I'm in right now. So I know how much harder it was when I wasn't here, right? Basically, I had to actually delete somebody that really, like, the only guy in recent years that I was in love with, that I really thought I saw a future with. And so when I say I help you release your blocks from love, it's a process that, is ever evolving, and I'm constantly going through myself. So right here with you kids, if you guys know me, or if you know my page at all, if you know my work, you know that I stem from anxious attachment, right? It's my kind of core base, if you will, but I've grown into security, and most of the time I spend in a secure attachment style. Now,
the way that it works is that when you get triggered,
your attachment issues come up, and it's not, you can spend months, years almost like feeling totally secure, and then one thing kind of happens and, kind of triggers that attachment that you thought you got rid of a long time ago. But hi, still here, because that program is so deeply embedded in all of us. And so holiday time is upon us, and, nostalgia is upon us, and birthday times are upon us. I felt this loneliness. I felt this urge to reach out to my ex that I know is a dead space. Even though I loved him, even though I cared about him, even though all the things, he's a dead space. He's avoidant. He's not willing to change. He's not willing to look at his own and he is never coming back. And it's not that I want him to come back, because I don't want to be with somebody who's like that. And it's not that I am looking to get into a negative, toxic situation again, but the loneliness becomes the trigger. The holidays, right? The hyper focus on love and connection and family and relationship, which for me, due to certain circumstances, location and stuff like that, I'm not around as much as my family and as much as my close friends as I'd like to be. And so the loneliness appears and it kicks in. And I know a lot of you guys are suffering with this as well. Because you've commented on my videos, right? And you've said, but it's so hard when it's lonely. And I understand, because I'm in the same boat. I'm with you, I found myself wanting to reach out. And, I found myself going through all of those subconscious manipulations that us anxious attachers do to ourselves, right? Like
well, I'm just going to check in on him.
Well, this is me being nice, and I'm okay with, the reaction or the result. And let me say, if you are really okay with the outcome, and if, knowing that he may or may not respond, knowing that you may or may get nothing out of it, knowing that it could turn ugly again, or depleting your energy in some way, then if you're okay with that, really genuinely okay with that, then do you. And for a moment, I thought I was, right? For a moment, there were times when I've reached out in the past, and I've really reached out from just like a genuine place of consideration and care without needing anything back from it. But this time, because of the trigger of loneliness, because of the holidays, because of that like hyper, this time of connectivity when you don't have someone to connect with, you feel a little bit empty. You feel a little bit lonely, and you feel maybe a lot lonely. That's where it's like, when they talk about the angel and the devil, right? This is the devil. This is your subconscious old patterns coming back, right? And pulling you into something that isn't healthy, pulling you into something that is potentially toxic. And so I found myself really coming from a place of lack, right? Not wanting to reach out from kindness and from curiosity and consideration, but coming from a place of lack and loneliness. I did text, and I did not get a response. It did hurt, and it did trigger me to want to text again. And I had to cut myself off. I had to cut myself off because one, I don't want to get back involved with this person ever. He has nothing to offer me. Number two, I knew that I was coming from this place of desperation and lack mentality, and not from that place of like higher love, my highest self, and consideration. I knew that when he didn't respond and and it hurt, that was that like extra trigger. And so I deleted him. I cried for a minute, and then shortly after, and this is really the culmination of this whole thing, I felt relieved. You know, I feel this sense, not just like of empowerment, but of relief, because I've released that compulsion inside of me that makes me do things that are bad for me. Compulsion still lives. It's much more controllable now than it was way back when I was deep in my anxious attachment without any basis for security, right? But now that I've moved into a more secure attachment style, and I recognize it and I know it, and my body is kind of used to it, right? I can pull myself out of the anxious attachment, and there is this huge sense of relief, okay? That should I be able to just not text, and it shouldn't be a big deal, and you can sit in my phone and I just won't text, yeah, sure, I should. But you know what? Like, I know myself, and I'm not embarrassed or shy to say that I have to take certain controls to sometimes mitigate my behavior for my own benefit, you know? And it is really, in a sense, me reparenting myself, right? It's in a sense my higher self saying to my subconscious, my inner child that's crying out desperate for love and for attention and is lonely, I'm not gonna let you settle for or reach out to just because you're feeling lonely right now. This moment is going to pass. And so I took myself under control and I deleted. What is the most important part of this is the sense of relief that comes afterwards. It's like, now I'm not waiting. Now I'm not thinking that I can do something. There's nothing I can do anymore. I can't text the guy because I can't get in touch with him. He's not on social media and all these, you know, there's no other way for me to get in touch with him. And if there was, I would have blocked all of those ways as well. And he doesn't reach out to me. So I no longer have this eating away compulsion that, is there something I have to do? Is there something I need to do? Is there some way to get in touch with this person? And I just wanted to share that because I don't want you guys going back to toxicity because of the loneliness of the season. Let's talk about what to do instead in another video maybe, but just keep in mind that just because you're lonely right now and maybe you're spending the holidays alone, this time will pass, and the strength that you show yourself that you have is going to mean so much more to the bottom line, meaning like so much more to your subconscious belief system than making the same mistakes you've made 10,000 times over. So happy holidays, and let's do this together. Let's redo love together.